In my last video, part 1, I outlined a quick and dirty evolution of the pyramids and the forces that fueled it, until it was finally perfected in the 26th century BCE. So it's this event that represents our 7th anchor date for this project, which is Project Zero, the 53 most important dates in Western civilization. And now in this video, part 2, it's time to talk about why the pyramids are important to both history and this project. And if you're finding me for the first time and you don't care about this project, rather you simply want to hear the answer to the question, why are the pyramids important? Just keep watching and you'll get your answer. It's just a little tangled with my project talk at first, which you'll easily be able to separate once I reach the answer. And I think you'll find it informative and useful. So at this point in the project, we have 7 dates, and therefore 700 years of history, bookended by 2 big events. History begins at Sumer, and the pyramid is perfected. At the most basic level, if you memorize those 7 events and the centuries when they occurred, you'll no longer have the beginning of history swirling around your head as something old that happened a long time ago. Rather, you'll have something stable, a specific starting point for historical learning, thinking, and discussion. And the great thing about it is that it's easy to learn. You can memorize this in 10 minutes. And if you try to recall it a few times a week for a while, it will stick with you and will probably give you momentum to keep learning on your own. So go do it. Now, I know it's ancient history, so dating is complicated at this point. That's why these events are represented by centuries rather than specific dates. However, as I complete more videos and we get closer to present day, dates will become more specific. But if you're curious about how I chose and placed those events and which scholars I cited, be sure to watch my other videos. And if you watch those videos with this 700-year chunk of history in mind, for this project or otherwise, you'll get a decent sense of what this era is all about. I picked these events and organized them in a specific way with a little bit of context to give you a broader understanding of this era. And the pyramids seem to capture this period perfectly, which I'll explain. If you've been watching my videos, you know we started in Sumer and Egypt as these civilizations began, discussing the necessary practical elements that made civilization possible. And I address how their environments impacted their societies and cultures, and how they were both ruled by this idea of divine monarchy. Next, I discuss when writing began, and I explain why I picked 3000 BCE and how the Sumerian and Egyptian scripts evolved differently, but both contributed to the alphabet we use today. Then I discuss myths with the flood, literature with Gilgamesh, and the religion of Egypt's Old Kingdom, to give us more cultural insight into this era. And finally, it all culminated with these perfected pyramids in Egypt, these physical relics that embody both human greatness and human tragedy at the very beginning of recorded history. Now, the pyramids are not only important because they are this epic milestone, but they're also important because when you ask a historical question about the pyramids, you're really opening up your investigation into this time period. So questions like, why were the pyramids built? How were the pyramids built? Who built the pyramids? All have answers in the region's religion, culture, divine kingship, environment, technology, and writing. And you might be thinking Sumer is different than Egypt, so how can I lump them along with Egypt and the pyramids? Well, good question. When you study the pyramids, there always seems to be references to Sumer. When scholars mention the pyramids, they also seem to mention Sumer's ziggurats. When they discuss Egypt's monarch, they say that the pharaoh was God on earth, by contrasting it with Sumer's monarch, who was God's representative on earth. When they discuss Egypt's environment and religion, they highlight order, morality, and a path to eternal paradise by comparing it to Sumer's chaotic rivers and their miserable conception of the afterlife for everyone. And when they discuss hieroglyphs, they speculate if the Egyptians got the idea from the Sumerians. And also the Phoenician alphabet, or Abjad, that came about roughly 1500 years after the pyramids and ultimately evolved into our alphabet today, is believed to have been a combination of Egyptian-inspired symbols and Mesopotamian syllabaries that are rooted in Sumerian cuneiform. So we take this all together, the pyramids are important because by studying them, you start studying this 700-year period of the ancient Near East, which I think is the most important period for a while, because after this point, even though some aspects of civilization start to become more sophisticated, like writing, war, and technology, civilization starts to plateau for a while, with these early aspects of Egyptian and Sumerian cultures dominating the region, until the rise of the Greek and Hebrew cultures almost 2,000 years later. And once we start studying the Greeks and Hebrews, we'll start asking questions about how their cultures were influenced by the Egyptians and Sumerians, which is difficult to answer unless you've studied this 700-year period. And a great way to start studying this 700-year period is simply by studying the pyramids. And also by memorizing those first 7 dates. So that's it, our 7th date. 26th century BCE, the pyramid is perfected. Only 46 dates to go. In my next video, we head east beyond Mesopotamia and the Zagros Mountains to a new river valley, the Indus. If you have any questions or know a lot already, in the comment section, please post anything you think is essential to understanding this century or this topic. If you're adding new information, please cite your sources. I'll be monitoring what's going on, and in my conclusion videos for this project, I'll highlight how we've expanded its historiography and list any questions that seem to be left unanswered. At that point, we'll have a stronger foundation for my next project and all future projects. And of course, if you're an expert and you want to share your knowledge to help guide us, please feel free to join the conversation. Or if you're interested, I'd love to interview you and post it right here. So contact me. If you just found me for the first time and are curious what this is all about, go check out my intro videos to both this project and this channel. And as always, subscribe, like, donate some money to keep this show going, click the notification so you know when the next video is up, and I'll see you then.